You are listening to Hillary Topper on Air, the small business podcast to help you grow both personally and professionally. And now, here's your host, Hillary Topper.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Hillary Topper on Air. I'm your host, Hillary Topper, and today we're exploring the world of long-distance swimming and a brand that's become a favorite and my favorite to a lot of athletes. The brand is Zealios. Joining me today is Stacy Kiefer, an incredible distance swimmer and the marketing powerhouse behind Zealios. I can't wait to hear her stories and learn more about the amazing products that she works with. But before we begin, I have to thank our sponsors. This podcast could not be made possible without the support of our amazing sponsors, and I want to take this time out to thank them. Special thanks to the Russo Law Group, Long Island's signature elder law, estate planning, and special needs law firm. For more information, visit vjrussolaw.com. That's vjrussolaw.com. And Playtry, everything swim, bike, and run. They have also franchise opportunities across the country. Their main headquarters is located in Dallas, but they have so many opportunities for all of us to buy online. Go to playtry.com/store. That's playtry.com/store. Or for opportunities for franchising, go to playtry.com and look for Own a Store. They're a terrific group and they have a lot of everything: triathlon, swim, bike, run. So, Stacy, welcome to the show. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your swimming experience, what drew you to the sport, and some of the most memorable swims you've had?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, Hillary. It's always a pleasure to connect with you and just chat. I am Stacy Kiefer. I grew up in Racine, Wisconsin, the Midwest. Ate a lot of cheese growing up, but also did a lot of swimming. My parents were not swimmers, had nothing to do with swimming. But we lived in a fairly small town, and there was a neighbor kid who just happened to join the local swim team. And my mom talked to his mom, and they said, you should get your kids in swimming. So my older brother was put on the swim team, and I, of course, was the little sister, just standing on the pool deck and wanting to get in the pool, but not quite old enough. And so when it was my time, I immediately joined the team and have now been swimming for 41 years competitively. And I'm pretty sure I haven't ever been out of the water for more than 3 weeks, like between seasons. So I started on a team in Racine called Southeastern Aquatics, and that's club swimming. So it's a USA Swimming club. Swam for Racine Case High School. That was my high school. Did a couple years on a team in Milwaukee called Southwest Aquatic Team, SWAT. They always have funny little names. And then I rolled right into college swimming. And honestly, I did not want the pressure of having to swim to hold a scholarship. So I decided to go to a D3 school, which was called Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin, right on Lake Michigan. And it's actually the school my mother, brother, sister, and I all went to. So that was a family tradition. And my brother and sister also swam at Carthage, although we were not there really at the same time. We were spread out. Um, and then right after college, I kind of freaked out and went, oh my gosh, I'm not ready to be done swimming. And I actually think some of that had to do with swimming D3 because I didn't have the pressure to swim. And I have some really great friends who swam D1 and they will not touch water anymore. Like it was just enough to like, they just didn't have, they got their competitive
Oh
ness
my
out of the
God.
way, and that was it. And now they do other things like, hit classes or cycling or running. But I just was not ready to be done swimming. So I stayed in the area of my college and I started their master's team, which was super fun. And we ended up growing it to like 20, 25 people. And we had
Oh,
coaches, who were actually like swimmers on the college team. So that was kind of fun because we get like recycled workouts to do. And at the same time, I gave birth I got married and was getting my master's and also working for our family business at the time called Kiefer Swim Products. And so I gave birth to our first daughter, Ginger. And when she was a tiny baby, so I would bring her to swim practice. And my sister, who was going to Carthage at the time, would come and grab her from the pool and take her up to her dorm room and babysit her. And all the girls in the dorm loved having this like 3-month old in the dorms while I'm down getting my swim in. It was wonderful. It worked out
so
really well.
funny.
And then eventually, after 20 years of living in the Midwest after college, I took a job with Speedo and we moved to Bend, Oregon. And so now where I still live, I swim for Coma because another great team name, which is Central Oregon Masters Aquatics. And I also help coach Bend Swim Club, which is the age group kids, because I totally believe in giving back to the sport that has absolutely made my life wonderful and kept me very healthy and given me a lot of my best friends and made such great relationships. So, and my kids are all grown up. So just being with like little 7 and 8 year olds is really fun and just a nice break from like having a business job. So, but I work for Zealios now and we have swim, hair products, body products, and sunscreen, all for endurance athletes and swimmers and triathletes. So I never really got out of the swim industry, just kind of took a different route, took a couple different routes. And so here I am. So I still swim 6 days a week. I try to compete. My next competition coming up is the Masters Open Water Nationals in Sarasota, Florida, which is in 3 weeks. And I'm super excited because my husband and I are doing it, but our daughter is going to meet us there because she is doing the open water race because she qualified from a collegiate open water race. So we're all going to meet up in Florida and have
So fun.
fun swims together. Like we have 5Ks and then also the mile swim. So
So
I'm like so excited.
when this airs, this'll be after you get back. So
Okay,
you'll have to give us an update.
for sure. I'm so excited for it. Although I was looking at the list of who is signed up, and the first name I see is Brooke Bennett in my age group. She's a 3-time Olympian, like Olympic gold medalist. Like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Who am I swimming
That's
against? And
so funny.
of course
That's
my friends
awesome.
are like, just get on her feet and stay on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I was not an Olympian. I always can say like, no, I was the D3 swimmer, like you guys were D1 swimmers. So
D3 is
it's
pretty
funny.
impressive. Pretty
Yeah, it
impressive.
was fun. I mean, I definitely see the difference now because my daughter swims for University of Idaho, which is a D1 school, and they get really fun things like tons of clothing and like bigger trips to swim meets and they travel across the country and I'm like, oh, wow, we piled into vans with like sack lunches and drove down to, Wheaton College in Illinois from our Kenosha, Wisconsin school. So, but
So
respect
funny.
to all divisions because if you are a swimmer, you are training hard no matter what swim team you're on, what division, what category, masters, age group, club, whatever it is, swimming's hard. It's
It
really hard. And
is.
that's,
It
you know
is.
what? That's why swimmers are like in the best shape because it is like go. You are using every single muscle. You are using your cardiovascular system. Like it's all there. It's there. So
Absolutely. I
yeah.
wanna talk about Zealios, but before we get into that, tell me about, distance swimming. It requires
Yeah.
so much mental and physical endurance, right? Could you share any tips and strategies that helped you go long?
Yes. So first of all, getting out into lakes or rivers or whatever you have access to, the open water is your best way to train distance, especially if you're training for an open water race. Like going in with having no experience is really scary. Even with experience, it can be scary, but like there is definitely that need to get in and make sure you're comfortable without having a black line below
Mhm.
you and not having a wall that you can grab or a flip turn to take a little break. So that's actually where I'm struggling right now for my training for Florida because in Oregon, I mean, we had a snowstorm a week ago.
It's
So
cold.
yeah, there is no like lake or river swimming right now. So I am trying to do um some at least once a week, do just an hour straight or pick a distance like 4,000 or 5,000 and just swim it straight. And granted, I have to do flip turns, but I'm not stopping to take a drink. I'm not stopping to talk to friends. I am just like go, 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 not fixing my goggles. If something starts to leak or it's starting to hurt, I'm like, no, I have to get used to this because this could happen. And you know what? When you're in an open water race, the longer it is, the more time you have to like do a goggle adjustment or fix your cap if it's starting to ride up. But it's hard to train long distance when you don't have the right places to do it. So like in summer it's much easier because I can go out to the lakes and the mountains and things like that or jump in the river, but in a pool it's hard. And luckily my pool just started doing long course 50 meters once a week.
Oh.
And so like that day is so important to make sure I get there and get a decent workout in to just work on being in the water and moving your arms and your shoulders for that long and staying buoyant that long. And I think super importantly is working on your sighting. So if you do not practice your sighting and you show up at a 5K race, I promise you, you are going to go home with a sore neck or sore back or even sore abs. I actually had a friend who did a Tahoe crossing, and she practically pulled her muscles in her quads because she was kicking so hard from doing her sighting for so long. I mean, it was like a 13-mile swim, and like she said, it took her over 2 weeks to recover because she had like injured her leg muscles from doing the sighting. So sighting is super important. So when I swim with a group of people, or sometimes I'll swim by myself. But when I do those long swims, I make sure that maybe every other length, I do at least one or two breaths where I'm taking that breath and lifting my head and rolling into the stroke again, just to build those little back muscles and everything
Mhm.
that's different when you're open water swimming. So yeah,
Absolutely.
practice, practice, practice. That
Ah,
is like,
That's great
yeah,
advice. Thank you. So let's
sure.
switch gears a little bit and tell us
Yeah.
about Zealios. How did the company start and what was their whole inspiration for this brand?
So it was two guys who were best friends. They went to University of Washington. They were rugby players. not triathletes or swimmers. Um, and they actually went into the chemical trading industry. And through that, they ended up meeting a chemist, so a doctor who was creating formulas, and they were able to obtain a really great sunscreen formula that it was basically, they were told, if you can make a company out of this sunscreen, you can have it. And it was like, what? So they were like two young guys, like, okay, we're going to do it. And they were living down in San Francisco at the time, or Berkeley. And they like schlepped to swim meets and put their product out on tables, and swim moms came over and said, what is this? And then they started getting asked for shampoo and conditioner that can take out chlorine, and then they were asked for anti-chafing cream, which is our betwixt. And so they kept working with the chemist and creating really awesome formulas, and that's how the company just like got built up. And they're all formulas that nobody else has. Like, these were designed specifically for Zealios, and there's tons of testing. So we don't test on animals, but we test on our friends and ourselves. So we are constantly testing new ideas and new formulas. And if people write in and say, it'd be really great if you could make a sunscreen that's more like a lotion I can just wear every day. Oh, okay. We just did it, and we launched it today.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, today was the launch of all of our two new sunscreens. So we have a new hybrid formula. So hybrid means it has mineral and chemical ingredients. So that it has the zinc in it, but then it also has chemical ingredients. And then we also launched a new, we call it ultralight hydration. And that is the one that's like a super light formula. And that's an all chemical. So, once you put zinc in a sunscreen, it kind of makes it tackier
Thick.
or feels
Yeah.
heavier, thicker, harder to rub in. So we actually have had a lot of people who have said, can you make one that's like not as thick? And we did it. So
Wow.
we have all new like packaging, like it's much whiter
Oh,
looking, not so
wow.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did new packaging for our Reef Safe, which our Reef Safe is super awesome because it follows all of Hawaii's guidelines, and like you can wear it in Hawaii and you won't get in trouble and you won't hurt the reefs. And so we're super excited about that, because also Florida is starting to pick up. There are some places in Florida where they want you wearing a Reef Safe. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so we're super excited.
Yeah, that is so cool. And here I was going to ask you about the sun barrier products.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not even going to use the name sun barrier anymore, because that formula really has gone away. And honestly, to be like very transparent, we had to get rid of our original SPF 45 sunscreen. Not get rid of it, but we couldn't keep making it because there was an ingredient in it that we can no longer get. Like,
Oh,
we have
wow.
looked everywhere. Our founders have looked everywhere, and it just cannot be found. It's a preservative, and it's no longer available. So we
Wow.
were basically forced to create some new sunscreens and like get them tested. And honestly, we're on our last batch of the OG SPF 45 right now. And the only place you'll be able to get it is on Amazon until it's gone, and then it's gone. So I know
Wow.
people are gonna be sad, but we're really happy with the new formulas, and like it should be pretty seamless as far as like just switching over to theirs. And we dropped the price.
Well, I love that
So
it's reef safe. That's really important. I think
yeah.
that should be important to all swimmers who like to do open water swims,
Mhm.
especially.
Yeah.
So for triathletes, long distance runners, swimmers, cyclists, which of the products, which ones are the must-haves? I know which must-haves
You
I
love
want.
Betwixt.
I
You love
love
Betwixt.
Betwixt, right? I love that. That's my favorite. But I absolutely love the shampoo and conditioner and body wash. To me, whenever I try it out, like after a pool swim or an open water swim, I feel like I'm in the Caribbean. I
Yes.
love that.
So I think the two or three that are absolutely essential because there will be bad consequences if you don't use them are the sunscreen, and then the betwixt if you have chafing issues, and then also the lip guard. So that's our
Mm,
sunscreen lip balm because you will get burned or you will chafe if you're running and cycling a lot or even swimming a lot. Like if you're doing open water, saltwater swimming, there's a lot of chafing that can happen. So those are like the absolute essentials. Now, my favorites are the shampoo, conditioner, and body wash because I'm a swimmer and I just love taking a shower with those, and I use them every single day. Even the one day a week I don't go to the pool, that is what's in my shower at home. That's what's in my swim bag. That's all I use. So
yep.
I travel with it. Yeah. So I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but I think the favorites are the sunscreen, the Betwixt, and the shower products. But then we have the race relief. So if you're like a big recovery person or I've had injuries where I've used the race relief and I can magically exercise without having pain because it's that cold feeling. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're swimming a long time and your
Mhm.
shoulders are so
Yes.
sore.
Yes. Yeah. I used it a lot on like hamstring and knee issues when I was doing a lot of running. So it's just good to have because you don't have to drag out a bag of ice and have it leaking all over.
True. Absolutely. So, Stacy, you are also this we're going to switch gears one more
Yeah.
time to I am as you know, I am preparing my fifth or sixth book right now. It's on open water swimming, and you wrote the forward in it.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit because that forward was so amazing. Just give us like a little like rundown about, how you came to write that and, like that.
So I think the biggest inspiration is knowing that feeling of being nervous before you get into open water and like going to that place and like feeling the wet sand in your feet and just knowing you're going to get into this environment that is not always the most comfortable place. It can be really scary or it can be totally euphoric and amazing, or it can be both. And it usually is both. Like I swim in a river behind my house all summer and I still have moments where I'm like, ah, is that a muskrat in my face? Or like, oh my gosh, there's a swan chasing me, which really happens. Um, and so it's just like going to that place that you and I are very familiar with, and hopefully more people will become familiar with. And, knowing that every time I jump into open water, there's a little bit of like, what's in there? And honestly, that's why my favorite places to swim are in freshwater because I get really scared in salt water. Like, swimming in the ocean to me is the scariest place. There are creatures in there that are bigger than our house. Like you don't even know what's in there. And a lot of times you can't see, like it's not clear. And I grew up in the Midwest, so I spent a lot of time swimming in Lake Michigan. And to this day, that is my favorite body of water to swim in. It's like an
Beautiful.
ocean without the salts and the scary animals. And, sometimes my mom will send me a picture of like my brother caught a fish in their lake house lake. And it's like 4 feet tall, 4 feet long. And I'm like, don't show it to me. But at the same time, I know that fish is not going to hurt me. Like, a sturgeon or whatever, a big, big like Wisconsin fish is not going to bite my legs off. So, I
It
mean,
seems, yeah, it seems to
yeah,
me that most people, or most triathletes rather, are really nervous about getting into the open
yes,
water. Really
yes.
nervous.
Biggest
And
fear of their race. Big they
yeah,
when triathletes finish the swim, they're like, "Okay, now I can enjoy my race." Like when I would finish the swim as a swimmer in a triathlon, I was like, "Ah, my
I
race is
know.
over. I don't care what happens now." Like, can I go back and do the swim again?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just like that feeling. But like in winter, like right now, I'm so like I'm ready for open water. I'm
Yeah,
ready to go out to the lakes. And this
yeah,
my New Year's resolution this year was that I am going to spend as much time swimming outside in nature as I can. Because I get
yeah.
into I have to go to the pool. I have to go to the pool. I have to get my workout in. I need to do 5,000. And I so enjoy it so much more out in a lake or a
Just
river
amazing.
or yeah, and there's so many places you can go. Like you go on a trip and go check out a lake. If there's a lake in the town, go see if you can swim in it and swim in it. Like, why not? You can stay by the edge.
Absolutely.
Like, one of my best swims ever was all by myself in Lake Michigan, and I was swimming parallel with the shore, and I took a breath, and I saw this little creature running along the rocks of the beach, and it was a fox. It was like the most
Oh,
wonderful sighting while I was swimming. Like, just amazing,
I
you
love
know?
it.
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
like to see things out of the water, not in the water. But my husband, like, he ran into a snapping turtle once while he was open water swimming in Silver Lake in Wisconsin, and it was like he was like, "Ah!" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't wanna see that. That's not what I want." But just to, like I wear a watch when I swim, but I'm not in open water, I'm not really worried about my distance because it's not really gonna be totally accurate on my watch. Like, if I can get out there for 40 minutes or an hour, it's so wonderful. It makes it the best day.
Absolutely. There's nothing
Yes,
better.
so
There's
yeah.
nothing better. And lastly, in terms of Zealios products, how could people find them and purchase
Yeah,
them?
so they're on our website, so teamzelios.com. They're all listed on there and all the new products are up. And then we're also on Amazon. And then you could find we have about a couple dozen dealers. So you could find a specialty sports store like a swim shop or a cycling shop that would possibly have kind of some of the products. Most of them don't carry everything, but Amazon and teamzelios.com are definitely the places to get everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's
You're
always a pleasure
welcome.
having you on the show. And thank you for sharing your distance swimming and also letting us inside the world of Zealios. So thank
For
you.
sure. And good luck with your training for your race. Of course, if you have any questions or need advice, just let me know. Eat your sweet potatoes right before so that you're all carbo loaded up and take your B12 and yeah, good luck.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
To all our listeners, if you're looking for top notch personal care products that can keep up with you, don't forget to check out Zealios at teamzelios.com. And of course, subscribe to Hillary Topper on Air on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you play your podcasts for more inspiring conversations just like this one. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.